Hey, I'm back again. As I was starting to say, why a prospecting system? Well, I just proven that systems are really crucial. I had skipped a step in one of my systems, which was just to simply check the audio levels, and I would have noticed that you guys weren't hearing me because I wasn't able to put any levels through. It's kind of complicated, but when you do digital, it's different than audio analog. You used to plug in the wires and you look and see if they're plugged in. Digital, you have to kind of notice that the software has been used a lot today for other purposes like rendering videos and things like that. And it doesn't hurt to have in your system as your first step. Step one, check that both mics are working. Step two, reboot system if not. So I just rebooted after a handful of you chimed in and said you'd like to see me continue this talk. So here we go. We're going to do it from the top. So this is Prospector Jess, sourdoughminer.com. Come visit us. Why a prospecting system? So the reason why a prospecting system is the same reason you want to use a system in pretty much anything that's somewhat technical or scientific, and that is for process improvement. You can't improve if you can't measure and if you can't do a systematic, stepwise, process. So what you want to be able to do, for example, is go through these 5 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and be able to accomplish these different tasks or have these different skills and know them so that you can understand, how in the world you can improve. And also, whether you're dialed in as good as you can get right now. So one of the things that we do here at Hunting for Gold is how may we help you find more gold? The way that I do that, that's my background in engineering and engineering management and so forth, is system science to be precise. It's a whole field into itself, and so I have a background in that. Part of it that it deals with control theory. So, but I also have a part of it that deals with development of systems like the thing you see behind you, medical devices and the like. So it's kind of a, what do you do when you're doing that? Well, you basically start laying down an understanding of what you're doing. First thing you do typically is do enough research you understand the field. And once you do that, then you can start to systematically lay down what is the sequence of events that it takes to make it work well, and what is the easiest sequence of events so that I can make it work easily. Because you can't really improve a process that's draconianly difficult to follow. It's just not worth improving. What you need is a process that you can follow quickly and that has the right tweaks in it and the right open-endedness to it that allows me to adapt. Why do I focus on why so much? Because why is a concept behind what's called root cause. If you can understand the why something works the way it does, when it doesn't, you can understand what to look for to fix it. And that's the systematic approach. So what we're doing here in a processing system is taking those 5 stages of processing, which you can look up on a post I did earlier. Something I've come to realize, just to take a moment aside from the topic of why a prospecting system. You guys get these notices on Facebook or on YouTube through the process that their system does, which is called notification. And typically it shows up in a thing called a news feed or some kind of latest post by. And so the problem with that is that's not where you'll find all the previous posts. You can't find them unless you can scroll through all your history and it's still there, which, by the way, based on the algorithm, for about half of you, it won't be. So if you want to find my stuff easily, here's a systematic approach. On Facebook, go to Hunting FOR Gold page, like the page, then go down and search on the page. There's a little search bar. You can search for things like gold in Colorado or gold in California or gold in Maine, and you will find the post that I put in there that has that topic in it. And that's something you'll want to do. Now, I found out myself that there's even a further system that I can put keywords into those videos, so I'll be backfitting that. I'm going to have one of my helpers help me with that. But we can make it even easier if I put some keywords related to what the post had in it, and so that you can search for a topic. But start with like gold in, but even if you don't, just start scrolling down on the page, the Facebook, we used to call them fan pages. I think they call them just page now. for hunting for gold, and you'll find the last N things. There's also a bar on the side that says videos or pictures. You can go into those, believe it or not, and they'll have only the videos in a big stack. What I also found is I can create little sub stacks like I have on YouTube, where I have lots of various, what do they call those things? It'll come to me. That's my brain. So if you have the ability to get to those pages, or if you go on YouTube and join Prospector Jess channel, then you'll find the same kind of pattern. You can go search through and find the previous posts, and you'll want to. Okay, I welcome you to. Now let's go back to why a prospecting system. Well, in prospecting, the process of finding gold can be so complicated if you just go at it randomly. It doesn't need to be. It can be simple. It can be as small as 5 steps, 5 stages, each of which have a bunch of steps in them, but they're not many steps. To identify things like in the first stage, we look at the research that we can do to identify places that are likely to have gold. We're going to be looking at topology and topography and the USGS and gold history. We're going to integrate those into a map. We might get online and do some research of that area and find out what hotels and motels I can stay at, or find campgrounds, or on and on. That's your research. We also might find claim law and so forth for the area. And so you integrate that into a picture of, is this in my binder? Is this material telling me I have sufficient information that I can go in there and easily find what I'm looking for once I get there? Now, once you get there, stage 2 in this process is claim, or rather site survey. Okay, you're looking at the site that you're planning to go to, and you're there, and you're going through the list of things of, is it geologically interesting? Are there rocks and minerals? Remember, I've talked about associations with gold. Are they associated with gold? Is there enough evidence here with cracks and maybe quartz lode, or maybe some other metamorphic material, or granitic? What kind of stuff is in here? What's the river bottom look like? Where are the curves and bends? Where's the gold pay streak likely to be? The purpose of this kind of system is, now I'm going to stack the odds in my favor, kind of the blackjack model versus poker. Poker's just random, blackjack's not. Blackjack's more like chess. You can actually count the numbers and figure out where the odds are. Once you play those odds in the right direction strategically, like you do in chess, then it's very hard for your opponent, Mother Nature, to beat you. You can actually start winning this game. The problem is most people don't play it that way. They just kind of go in and say, I'm going to dig here because gold is where you find it, and that's wherever, I dig is where it's going to be. No, it's not. It's going to be where it's going to be. There are higher probability places than others, but typically people don't necessarily dig there. Now, even the guys who say gold is where you find it, and find it a lot, don't realize in their brain is ingrained, and our brains are great at this, is ingrained a whole bunch of skills they've developed over the years of just doing this over and over again. And they realize, no, it's always behind the rock. It's always in this place. It's always, that's because odds are it is. There's some physics and some science behind why that is. There's also some randomness. Truth be told, there is a random pattern to a lot of what happens in gold prospecting. You want to learn where that random pattern, because even in randomness, there's a field in science that I actually studied for control systems that has to do with what's called stochastics. It's a fancy word for statistical anomalies that can actually be measured and can be used to describe things like, the Google algorithm is a stochastic algorithm. You don't know exactly what one person's going to do, but you can tell what the whole group's going to do to a precision of thousandths of a percent. You can tell. And the way you do that is predictors. You build up a system that statistically will know, like you would where gold is, it'll know where people are and what they like. And then you'll serve them the things they like the most, and not serve them the things they don't. Now, they don't always get it right. Still, they get a lot of it right, more than you might think. And so and it makes people upset because, you know me before I know myself. But that's statistics. You can do the same thing. You can know the gold before it knows itself, so to speak. And that's why a systematic prospecting method is needed. So why a prospecting system? Because you need to stack the odds in your favor. So I thought I'd kind of touch on that tonight. In the first 2 stages, of course, the first one is doing your site research. Find the place you're going to go to that looks the most interesting and that you have the opportunity. Understand a little bit about the claims in the area or the clubs and what you can do there. You know, there's various things, or whether there's public access, you know, that kind of thing. Whether there's international laws involved or otherwise. So that's all you're doing in stage one, is just kind of get a picture and drawing that up. Stage two is when things get interesting. You actually land on the site, or you can get somebody to go out and get a camera for you or something, you know, some actual visual and tactile, hopefully you can get in there and chip some rocks out, feedback about what you're looking at, and start to do the process of geologic and hydrologic and topologic, you know, evaluation of the actual place you're going to look for and dig out and prospect gold, right? So that's the idea behind a systematic prospecting method, and that's what we're going to be talking about over the next couple of nights. But I just wanted to touch bases with you on that tonight. I had a systematic problem earlier, forgive me about the audio. I hope we're fixed now. I didn't check. Part of the problem is I get distracted between checking to see if you guys are live and in the room with me and whether I'm actually talking or not. I thought I had it fixed last time. It broke a second time. I do not know what broke it the first time or the second time, but I do know that it was a mess. So I am in the Was Live, I'm replacing that with this one, and we'll let that one float for a bit, but I'd like to kind of take it down because it will collect a bunch of, you know, really nice handy dandy comments that I'd rather have on this video than that one. So comment again on this one. Tell me what you want to know about systematic gold prospecting, and maybe a little bit more about why and how that system came to be. That's Prospector Jess for tonight. Let's check and make sure you're there. Are you there again? Yep, I'm live now, and we have 51 comments. Wow. Okay, so we're there. I hope it's not a bunch of comments saying no audio, because that means I got a real problem. Okay, so let's let it go at that for tonight. And this is Prospector Jess, and good prospecting and good night.